So here we are at our third topic in our geometry unit, and that is triangles. And we're going to talk about the key features and components of triangles. So for most, this should be a review, as you did learn it last year. When we talk about a triangle, it's a polygon. A polygon has many sides. Tri means three. So a triangle has three sides and three angles. So the triangle to your left, in my picture it's above, but the sides in this triangle are XY. Then they are XZ and YZ. So we name a side of a triangle by the place where the letters kind of pigeon in and form. Now the angles in this triangle are angle X, angle Y, and angle Z. It is very, very important that you can identify the sides and the angles in a triangle. Okay, and here's why. The triangle sum theorem, okay, states that the sum of the measures of all three angles, so the measure of all three angles will always add up to 180 in any triangle, okay? So therefore, you can say the measure of X plus Y plus Z will give us 180. We can always create an equation, set it equal to 180, and find our angles. Okay, let's go see what this looks like. So if I look at number one, I've got my triangle. I know that the three angles inside should add up to 180, but I'm missing one of the angles. So if I create an equation, and it's important that you do it this way, because you're going to see in a minute that we're going to build, and it's not going to be all just numbers and one variable. So you need to get in the habit of doing it this way. So I have X plus 79 plus 82 equals 180. I combined my like terms, 79 and 82, to get 161. I subtract 161 from both sides, so that X equals 19. So that is the missing angle, 19 degrees. Okay, number two, it's the same process. I create my equation, and my equation is all three angles being added because it's the triangle sum theorem. I always add all three angles and set them equal to 180. I then combine like terms. Okay, my only like terms were my two numbers. Then I'm going to subtract 117 from both sides so that X equals 63. Now, how can you check? How can you check that your value you got was right? Well, go back and add all three numbers and it should be 180. So let's go to number three. Now, I only see actually one number written there, a variable, and then I see that little box thing. Our brain should be signaled and programmed now that when I see that little square in the corner, it means that it is 90 degrees. So I do have my third angle. You can't do this type without two of the three. So 53 plus 90 plus X equals 180. I combine my like terms to get X plus 143. Subtract 143 from both sides so that X equals 37. Okay, we got one more to try now. So first I'm going to generate my equation. X plus 34 plus 27 equals 180. Combine my like terms. Do my inverse operation to isolate my variable so that X is 119. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you that you need to be able to solve an equation and combine like terms and do everything from the last unit because it's in everything we do moving forward. So if you still don't know how, go back and watch those videos or rewatch some of these as I step you through it. So here's 5 and 6. We just did 4 of them together. So now you're going to pause and you're going to do these. I'm going to be looking for the proper work. If you have the exact work that I showed, then you will get your extra credit, and if the answers are correct. So be sure you're checking. Okay, so remember, I'm looking for correct work and correct answers for the extra credit points. So sometimes we're going to get a little bit more of a complex problem like this. But you need to look. You need to look very carefully because there's a problem. There's something here you can do right away. Take a look. Let's go with angle 3. This kind of looks like everything you did on the last page. I have a 48 and I have a 90 degree. So really, I'm going to have, this is the 90 I'm talking about. I'm going to have x plus 90 plus 48. This is exactly what we just did in the last 6 problems. I combine my like terms, I isolate my variable, and I get x equals 42. So be careful. Make sure you go right. That measure of angle 3 is 42 degrees. Now there is another one that really involves even less work than what you just did. Does anyone see it? That's angle 2. How can I find angle 2? It's in my other triangle, and my other triangle is just 67, 1, and 2. But you should be looking. This is what we've been doing. 2 and 48 are vertical angles. They share a vertex. Vertical angles are congruent, meaning angle 2 is also 48 degrees. Okay? So now I'm shifting. I'm shifting into my other triangle, and I have angle 1. So what I like to do is I like to write. I would have written 48 inside my 2. But I'm looking. I've got 67. Angle 2 was 48, and I'm looking for angle 1. So my equation is x plus 67 plus 48 equals 180. Guys, when we're dealing with the interior, meaning the 3 angles inside, they always add up to 180. So now I can combine my like terms, isolate my variable, and I'm subtracting because the 115 was being added. So that x equals 65. So make sure you go right, 65, and you must have the degree symbol because we're talking about the angles measure. So let's look here. We've done this. We just did 7 questions together. 7 was even more complex. But the concept doesn't change. I'm adding all 3 angles. The angles this time just happen to be expressions. And all they're asking me to do is find x. I know all 3 of those angles equal 180. So if I add them all up, add all 3 angles, add up to 180, I'd have 5x plus 1, 14x, and then 4x minus 5. I'm adding all of those together. I'm going to combine my like terms. Here I have a 5x, here I have a 14x, and here I have a 4x. When I add all of those together, I get 23x. With me? Then I have a positive 1 and a negative 5. When I add those together, I get a negative 4. And that's still going to equal 180. I isolate my variable, and I get 23x equals 184. Now I continue to isolate, because first I isolated the variable term by bringing the 4 over. Now I isolate by dividing by 23 to get 8. That's all it asked for. It did not ask for the angle measure. It asked for 8. What I want to see on your paper on this page is how did you get to the 8? Show me. Divide 23x by 23 and 184 by 23. Show me that work. I'm looking for it. There was a lot thrown at us in this video, and what some of us don't do is go back and re-watch. Those watching and pausing and trying are doing very well, and I'm very proud of you. So please take the time. If you're lost, go back and watch. Send me a question of what you don't understand.